Okay, first all you do is take this card and put it inside the mirror and work it loose. And I would start on this edge right here, push it in and work your way over, and it should come out pretty easily. So the mirror is now loose and I was just able to remove it, and that's what it looks like on the back. Next, you remove these 3 screws, and there is a 4th one right here. This one, the 4th one, is really tight, and you'll have to use a slightly smaller Phillips head screwdriver for this one, and may even spray some sort of lubricant on it to loosen it up just a bit. But if you strip this one out, you'll have to drill it out or use some other method to extract it, which can be really tricky. I ran into this problem on both mirrors, but my experience from doing the other side first, I learned that using the right screwdriver, applying a lot of pressure while you're turning, can save you a lot of trouble. So just be wary of this screw right here. But yeah, just disconnect this wire here and remove these screws. Okay, next, you remove this contact plate, and this is it does make an electrical connection here between this ball and the center of this, so make sure when you replace it that you put it exactly back in the right place. So this would be your your positive connection right here. The rest of the mirror, it just runs off your ground, which I'll get to that later. Okay. Next, you just lift out. You have to push these little push the Velcro pieces off to the side. The LED board. Not a very good one at that. These are the LEDs that I got off of Amazon. And I've already tested them in my other mirror and they look pretty good. In my opinion, it's a huge improvement over the factory lights. And they're supposed to be waterproof, and you can cut them to the correct length. So I just positioned this over the original factory lights, and each one of these little white squares is an LED light. So I'll just line this new light over the top of the old one. And of course, this was the original full length, and you can see there was a cut mark there. It looked like that. So once I got it on there, I cut it and I sort of rounded this edge off just a little bit so there wouldn't be a corner sticking out here. And on the back, just remove the tape and put it in place and press down. Make sure to press it down in these lower areas. These lights are slightly raised, the original lights. So just press it down and make sure that it's secure. It should look something like this. Next, you just turn the plate over and insert it right back exactly the way that it was, making sure that these, there's a slight cutout right here, making sure that it fits in place. And there's 2 little tabs underneath this Velcro, 2 little black plastic tabs. And when you're pressing right here, pop it in, and there's another one right here on this side, and just press and pop it in, and line up this center screw hole right here. Just make sure that this is lined up perfectly. And there's also a plastic pin underneath that fits in a tiny little slot on the back side of this plate just line everything up gently, you know, press it in, and you'll hear, like, you should hear these click once here and click once there, and then pull the Velcro back down into place. Mine still had a little bit of a sticky residue under there, so when I pushed it down, it seems to be staying back in place. So next I'm just going to put a bead of silicone all around the edges. You can see that there used to be one right from the factory, and so I'm going to put another one in there just to reseal it. You also want to make sure that this indentation right here is nice and clean, as well as the other contact point right here. Just make sure that there's not a lot of rust on there, because this is a electrical connection that is made right there. And what I did next was this is just for the top LED, which is this side here. As I simply just connected the red wire coming right out of this black sheathing and connected it to the red that was already here, and underneath I just wrapped it around the negative. This is ground or negative right here underneath this little screw, and I'm going to solder it, and I'll have to take the wire from this second one and cut it and connect the red here and the black there, same thing, and I'm going to do that and test it out. I just soldered on this little piece right here, put both wires, both ground wires from both LED strips inside here. I crimped it and then I soldered it here, both LED positive, you know, red wires, and soldered them onto the original factory wire, which was coming out of here. I cut it because, you know, this board doesn't need any power anymore, and soldered it. And now I'm going to pull this this right here. I'm going to press this down, and this is that shrink tubing. I'm going to pull that over it, heat it up, and it'll seal this up. I like to use a lighter for this, just a standard lighter, and hold it back at a distance. And heat it up from, you know, both sides, over here and the front, and you can see how it wraps around the wire there nicely, just to protect it from water or whatever. This back into place, kind of tuck the wires off over here to the side. Just tuck them in there and press it down just so they're out of the way. And next we're going to glue the mirror back on. Actually, also we have to seal around the edges, so I haven't done that yet. Okay, all I did now is I put a little bit of this glue on the two rubber, I guess the contact points that was here and here. So I put some of this on the rubber, and I also put a piece of double-sided adhesive tape. You know, pretty strong stuff. I think it's made by 3M. I put a strip right there just to help hold it in place. I know there's probably something better than this. I personally did not want to go with a rubber glue and risk having it come loose. So I'm trying this, and I've had some luck with it before on a car mirror, so I'm giving it another try this time. If this doesn't work, then I have a pretty strong piece of double-sided adhesive tape that I mentioned right through here, but you don't want to go out to the edge because it'll cause this to stick out here a little bit. Anyway, all I did is just follow the directions on here, glue here, glue there, held this in the middle, held it in place, and we can go around front and see what it looks like. Okay, so that's it. It actually looks a lot better than the factory. And I got these mirrors it's probably been 7 or 8 years ago, and I think they cost around 250 bucks. But there's the one that I just did. So, you know, it turns out pretty good. And yes, the blinker, they do flash. And let's see if I can make it dark in here. Some of these lights come on by motion and they're a little hard to turn off, but I'm gonna try to make it dark in here and see what this looks like. Okay, this is what it looks like at night. So pretty bright. I'm probably about 10 feet back from the mirror. So way better than factory. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this, and give it a thumbs up if you like this video. I mean, if it saved you some money. I'm not the best video person in the world. I'm just doing this using my phone. It's all I got. But anyway, I hope it helps somebody out there. Thanks.